think the government of Israel, and of course the Israeli army, would see this as that the international court to review their actions in Palestine. Maybe this is will help ease the suffering of the Palestinian people, not just from an legal point of view, but political and moral.
De tijd waarin Israël uw steun heel hard nodig heeft. De absurde aanklacht van Zuid-Afrika is een nieuw hoofdstuk in de hetze die sinds 7 oktober tegen Israël ontstaan is. De beschuldigingen buiten al over elkaar heen toen de doden van het door Hamas aangerichte bloedbad nog niet eens fatsoenlijk waren begraven. Uiteindelijk liet Zuid-Afrika zich voor het karretje.
Ja, gaat het vet geven.
We love Israel! We love Israel! We love Israel! We love Israel!
En vergeet niet, 2 jaar lang was Hamas bezig met de planning van het bloedbad dat op 7 oktober plaatsvond. 2 jaar! Zij hoopten er een regionale oorlog mee te ontketenen. In al die zorgvuldig uitgedachte plannen kwam niet één schuilkelder voor de bevolking van Gaza. Waarom? Omdat Hamas er belang bij heeft om zoveel mogelijk burgerdoden te creëren. Het is niet Israël die genocidale intenties heeft richting de Palestijnen. Wat Zuid-Afrika in haar argumenten nauwelijks benoemt, is dat Hamas was die op 7 oktober een slachting aanrichtte met de intentie om zoveel mogelijk burgers van het leven te beroven. De wereld heeft het er nog maar nauwelijks over. Zelfs toen Hamas-leiders onumwanden mededeelden again and again and again, zullen ze doen wat ze deden op 7 oktober zodra ze de kans krijgen. We zagen nauwelijks ophef. De wrange realiteit is dat Hamas niet aan dezelfde humanitaire maatstaven wordt gehouden die men aan Israël oplegt. De huidige militaire operatie in Gaza was er nooit geweest als 7 oktober niet had plaatsgevonden. Al lag Gaza niet in puin, was de envelop van Gaza nog bewoond en waren er geen duizenden doden. En dan zou baby 4 Bibas zijn eerste verjaardag exact volgende week gewoon thuis in Nieuw-Oost hebben gevierd. In de nabijheid van zijn ouders, zijn broertje en alle die hem lief hebben. Inmiddels zijn we 3 maanden verder en hier staan we dan in Den Haag. Omdat Zuid-Afrika slachtoffers tot dader heeft gemaakt. De wereld op zijn kop. Hoe deze aandacht zal uitpakken, we weten het niet. We kunnen alleen maar hopen dat het recht zal zegevieren en dat er een snel licht komt aan het eind van de tunnel voor Israël en de regio. Dat u er in dit donkere uur voor kiest om openlijk naast ons te blijven staan.
المقتل أمامنا
Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Intifada!
Viva, viva Intifada!
Ja, dat was
One solution!
Good morning. Can I ask you a quick question? My name is Mark. Good morning. My name is Mark. I'm a journalist from Associated Press. Can I ask you a question about your message today? Yeah, okay. What's your message that you want to have known today?
Hi, we're here today to support South Africa in the lawsuit for genocide against Israel. Everyone deserves to live safely, including Palestinians.
What's your name, please?
Aryam.
How do you spell that?
Aryam.
Right, and your family name too?
Just first name is fine.
Are you from the Netherlands?
No, I'm from UK, London.
Okay, all right.
I'm just coming for this.
All right, thank you very much. We have a lot of space all the way in the park.
Wij geloven in vrede. Wij willen graag in vrede leven. Met allen die de vrede najagen. Alleen Hamas en alle terreur moet stoppen. Ik denk dat het heel mooi is dat we een tocht gaan lopen waarin we die waardigheid laten zien. We laten ons dus ook niet provoceren. Als er mensen zijn die het tegen ons beraamd hebben, laat ze. Wij laten ze gaan. Wij staan hier om vrede. En wij laten zien dat Israël dat ook laat zien. We gaan straks lopen en voorop gaat de banner waarop staat dat we die vrijheid voor Israël willen. En we gaan lopen en we lopen in die waardigheid. Voorop loopt ook Rabbi Jacobs. Voorop lopen de leiders van de Joodse gemeenschap in Nederland. Voorop lopen de leiders van de christelijke kerken in Nederland. En we lopen met z'n allen. We lopen omdat we zeker weten dat Israël zal leven. Am Israël Chai!
Ja, dan is nu het moment voor de huishoudelijke mededelingen, maar ik wil u vragen om goed op te letten, want die zijn heel belangrijk bij een tocht als deze, omdat alles in goede orde moet verlopen. Allereerst is het zo dat we nu vlot willen vertrekken, zodat we nog op tijd bij het Vredespaleis zijn om echt te laten zien met hoeveel in Nederland mensen achter Israël staan. Maar ook op dit moment is er al een groep naar het Vredespaleis toe en ik heb net een verzoek. Als er mensen zijn die al wat eerder daar niet heen willen, dan zijn er vanuit de ambassade mensen op de fiets. Hier aan de rechterkant is een dame in een geel hesje, daar kunt u zich melden. En ze hebben mensen nodig bij die demonstratie nu al. Links voor de kijkers, wordt mij opgemerkt. Dus als u zegt, oh ik wil wel nu naar het Vredespaleis, niet allemaal, een handjevol kan dan zich even daar melden. Dan ga ik nu de uitleg geven over de tocht. Zometeen, ik kijk even vanuit uw kant, lopen we langs het podium, lopen we hier rechts de hoek om. Zoals Frank van Hoort en zij gaan de Kamerleden, de leiders van de organisaties en de leiders van de Joodse gemeenschap gaan voorop. En daarna nodig ik alle uit in aan te sluiten. Wat heel belangrijk is dat u goed aansluit. Er moeten geen gaten vallen. Dit is omdat de politie ons op die manier het beste van veiligheid kan voorzien. Dus zorg dat er geen gaten vallen. Blijf dicht bij elkaar. Hou elkaar in de gaten. En er zijn ook punten waar mensen wachten en stilstaan. Wij lopen gewoon door. We moeten bedoelen dat we op onthoud gaan signeren tijdens de route. Wat heel belangrijk is als er een andere reactie is vanuit de andere kant, dat u daar niet op reageert. Dus reageer op een politie en vraag een politie om hulp, maar ga nooit zelf het gesprek aan, de discussie aan. Wij, zoals verwoord, wij zijn hier vandaag in waardigheid en willen met elkaar een waardig protest uitdragen. Straks komen we in loop al. Oké. Straks komen we in dit. Ik zie u aansluiten. Het gaat heel erg bij. Maken we een goede wandeling van een waardige כל המשפחות פה?
איפה דני?
חבר'ה, רק תישארו ביחד, בסדר? Guys, let's start moving. We are starting moving. Thank you much.
טוב, יאללה.
So we wait for the police. Yeah.
Werk gebeurt niet achter de schermen.
Survivors we have come all the way to the gate
Maybe stop every few minutes.
Well, we can continue.
joining us on Instagram. Please share the
As well, I'm not really sure how the war is perceived around here. Because I don't see something for some build I understand. I'm in the school of it. I also cannot know how any sign of not in the legal
dan waar we nu hier staan. Ja, het geloof ben ik
Please raise the posters. Please raise the posters up. The posters up. Yeah. Please raise the posters. Please raise the posters. Then you take a
zit.
Ja, dat hoor. Boy.
What's your name? Ahmad.
Ahmad will interview you.
From AP, okay?
Associated Press. בעצם סוכנות ששולח לכל
Okay. Ayala?
רגע, תגיד לי מה הקונטקסט?
Her brother was kidnapped and hostage.
So can we do three?
You know what, if you wanted to do it standing, so let's do it at the ICJ. Okay?
Yeah.
שנייה, נעמדו בצד הזה. מי זה? אני אבל פה עם השוטרים. אתה רואה, מה שאתה רוצה, אתה רוצה שאני איתך? תגיד לי.
זה שיר שהוא בינלאומי.
Hallo mensen, we willen heel even hier blijven staan. Jullie kunnen ook proberen dat mensen aan de zijkant bij staan. Even enkele minuten, dan kunnen we verder lopen. Ja, dank u wel. Even meer mensen hier blijven staan.
Sorry.
Gezien hoor, van 25 man.
Need to go to the public bathroom?
Do you want us to show the card? Yes. Do you want us to show it?
Or you should if you
have it here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And inside.
If it was a bit more busy, maybe it would be a good idea.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Okay, happy.
And you? Happy. Nice, well, all perseverers united.
Artikel in the Constitution. Oh, you meant the number of judges? It is 17 people, 15 plus 2.
We have 11.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
They've been
Guys, you can stand here.
Yeah, we're moving.
No. Sorry. I'm really sorry. You can. Julius, you go there. You can stand here.
How can I get through? I can't get through. Can I?
You get
I can't get through.
I'm sorry, you'll leave.
If there's too much, we're going to ask everybody to leave.
You do the best.
עדיין יכול לעשות מהכס השופטי, שמאל צריך שידור לאוזן. היה לשי שידור לאוזן? כן, אני צריך שידור לאוזן בבקשה, שאני אוכל לשמוע שידור.
Please be seated. The sitting is open. The court meets today and will meet tomorrow under Article 74, Paragraph 3 of the Rules of Court to hear the oral observations of the parties on the request for the indication of provisional measures submitted by the Republic of South Africa in the case concerning application of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in the Gaza Strip, South Africa versus Israel. The court does not include upon the bench a judge of the nationality of either party. Accordingly, both parties avail themselves of the right under Article 31, Paragraph 3 of the statute to choose a judge ad hoc. South Africa has chosen Judge Dikgang Ernest Moseneke and Israel, Judge Aharon Barak. Article 20 of the statute provides that every member of the court shall, before taking up his duties, make a solemn declaration in open court that he will exercise his powers impartially and conscientiously. Pursuant to Article 31, Paragraph 6 of the statute, that same provision applies to judges ad hoc. Before inviting Judge Moseneke and Judge Barak to make their solemn declarations, I shall first, in accordance with custom, say a few words about their careers and qualifications. Judge Dikgang Ernest Moseneke, of South African nationality, has had a distinguished career as a judge, law practitioner, and academic. After obtaining degrees in English, political science, and law from the University of South Africa, he practiced as an attorney and an advocate with the Pretoria Bar. In 2001, he was appointed a judge on the High Court in Pretoria, and a year later, he became a judge on the Constitutional Court of South Africa, where he was Deputy Chief Justice for more than a decade and Acting Chief Justice in 2013 and 2014. Judge Moseneke is also an honorary professor in the Department of Jurisprudence at the University of Pretoria and has served as a Chancellor of the Pretoria Technikon and the University of Witwatersrand in Johannesburg. Judge Moseneke has received numerous honorary doctorates and awards. I shall now say a few words about the career and qualifications of Judge Barak. Judge Aharon Barak, of Israeli nationality, has had an eminent career as a judge and law professor. He holds a PhD in law from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and served as the Dean of the Faculty of Law of that university between 1974 and 1975. He was appointed to the Israeli Supreme Court in 1978 and served as its president from 1995 to 2006. Prior to joining the Supreme Court, Judge Barak served as the Attorney General of the State of Israel between 1975 and 1978. He has taught law in a number of law schools, including Yale University, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and the Reichman University in Herzliya, Israel. Judge Barak has also written extensively in law and has received numerous honorary degrees and awards. In accordance with the order of precedence fixed by Article 7, Paragraph 3 of the Rules of Court, I shall first invite Judge Moseneke to make the solemn declaration prescribed by the statute, and I request all Judge Moseneke, you have the floor.
I solemnly declare that I will perform my duties and exercise my powers as a judge honorably, faithfully, impartially, and conscientiously.
I thank Judge Moseneke, and I now invite Judge Barak to make the solemn declaration prescribed by the statute. Judge Barak, you have the floor.
I solemnly declare that I will perform my duties and exercise my powers as judge honorably, faithfully, impartially, and consciously.
I thank you, Judge Barak. Please be seated. I take note of the solemn declarations made by Judge Ad hoc Moseneke and Judge Ad hoc Barak, and I declare them duly installed as judges ad hoc in the case concerning application of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in the Gaza Strip, South Africa versus Israel. I shall now recall the principal steps of the procedure in the present case. On 29 December 2023, the government of South Africa filed in the registry of the court an application instituting proceedings against the State of Israel, alleging violations by the latter of its obligations under the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. I shall refer to this convention as the Genocide Convention. To found the jurisdiction of the court, South Africa invokes Article 36, Paragraph 1 of the Statute of Court and Article 9 of the Genocide Convention. South Africa states that its applications concerns acts threatened, adopted, condoned, taken, and being taken by the government and military of Israel against the Palestinian people, a distinct national, racial, and ethnical group, in the wake of the attacks in Israel on 7 October 2023. South Africa contends that the acts and omissions by Israel of which it complains are genocidal in character because, I quote, they are intended to bring about the destruction of a substantial part of the Palestinian national, racial, and ethnical group, that being the part of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip, end of quote. South Africa asserts that the relevant acts are attributable to Israel, which has failed to prevent genocide and is committing genocide, and which has also violated and continues to violate other fundamental obligations under the Genocide Convention. The application contains a request for the indication of provisional measures pursuant to Article 41 of the Statute of Court and Articles 73, 74, and 75 of the Rules of Court. According to South Africa, I quote, provisional measures are necessary in this case to protect against further severe and irreparable harm to the rights of the Palestinian people under the Genocide Convention, which continue to be violated with impunity. South Africa requests that the court indicate provisional measures to protect and preserve those rights, as well as its own rights under the Convention, and to prevent any aggravation or extension of the dispute pending the determination of the merits of the issues raised by the application. End of quote. The registrar will now read out the passage from the request specifying the provisional measures which the government of South Africa is asking the court to indicate. You have the floor, Mr. Registrar.
Thank you, Madam President. I quote, 1. The State of Israel shall immediately suspend its military operations in and against Gaza. 2. The State of Israel shall ensure that any military or irregular armed units which may be directed, supported, or influenced by it, as well as any organizations and persons which may be subject to its control, direction, or influence, take no steps in furtherance of the military operation referred to point 1 above. 3. The Republic of South Africa and the State of Israel shall each, in accordance with their obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in relation to the Palestinian people, take all reasonable measures within their power to prevent genocide. 4. The State of Israel shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, in relation to the Palestinian people as a group protected by the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, desist from the commission of any and all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, in particular, A. Killing members of the group, B. Causing serious bodily or mental harm to the members of the group, C. Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D. Imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. 5. The State of Israel shall, pursuant to point 4c above, in relation to Palestinians, desist from and take all measures within its power, including the rescinding of relevant orders, of restrictions and or of prohibitions to prevent A. The expulsion and forced displacement from their homes, B. The deprivation of B1. Access to adequate food and water, B2. Access to humanitarian assistance, including access to adequate fuel, shelter, clothes, hygiene and sanitation. B3, medical supplies and assistance. And C, the destruction of Palestinian life in Gaza. 6. The State of Israel shall, in relations to Palestinians, ensure that its military, as well as any irregular armed units or individuals which may be directed, supported, or otherwise influenced by it, and any organizations and persons which may be subject to its control, direction, or influence, do not commit any act described in 4 and 5 above, or engage in direct and public incitement to commit genocide, conspiracy to commit genocide, attempt to commit genocide, or complicity in genocide. And insofar as they do engage therein, that steps are taken towards their punishment pursuant to Articles 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. 7. The State of Israel shall take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. To that end, the State of Israel shall not act to deny or otherwise to restrict access by fact-finding missions, international mandates and other bodies to Gaza to assist in ensuring the preservation and retention of said evidence. 8. The State of Israel shall submit a report to the court on all measures taken to give effect to this order within 1 week, as from the date of this order, and thereafter at such regular intervals as the court shall order, until a final decision on the case is rendered by the court. 9. The State of Israel shall refrain from any action and shall ensure that no action is taken which might aggravate or extend the dispute before the court or make it more difficult to resolve. End of quote.
I thank the Registrar. Immediately after the application containing the request for the indication of provisional measures was filed, the Deputy Registrar transmitted an original copy thereof to the Government of Israel. He also notified the Secretary General of the United Nations. According to Article 74, Paragraph 1 of the Rules of Court, a request for the indication of provisional measures shall have priority over all other cases. Paragraph 2 of the same article states that the court shall proceed to a decision on the request as a matter of urgency. This imperative must, however, be balanced with the need to fix a date of oral proceedings in such a way as to afford the parties an opportunity to be represented at the hearings. Consequently, the parties were informed that the date for the opening of the oral proceedings, during which they could present their observations on the request for the indication of provisional measures, had been fixed for Thursday, 11 January 2024 at 10 a.m. I would now like to welcome the delegations of South Africa and Israel, and I note the presence before the court of the agents and counsel of both parties. This morning, the court will hear the single round of oral argument of South Africa, which has submitted the request for the indication of provisional measures. It will hear Israel tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. For purposes of this single round of oral argument, each party will have available to it a 3-hour sitting. In this first sitting, South Africa may, if required, avail itself of a short extension beyond 1 p.m. today in view of the time taken up by these introductory remarks. Before I give the floor to the agent of South Africa, I wish to draw the party's attention to Practice Direction 11, which states as follows, I quote, "In oral proceedings on the request for the indication of provisional measures, parties should limit themselves to what is relevant to the criteria for the indication of provisional measures as stipulated in the statute, rules, and jurisprudence of the court. They should not enter into the merits of the case beyond what is strictly necessary for that purpose." End of quote. I now give the floor to the agent of South Africa, His Excellency Mr. Vusumuzi Madonsela. You have the floor, Excellency.
Madam President, distinguished members of the court, it is an honor and a privilege for me to appear before you today on behalf of the Republic of South Africa. I wish to express my gratitude to the Court for convening this hearing on the earliest possible date to entertain South Africa's request for the indication of provisional measures in this matter. In our application, South Africa has recognized the ongoing Nakba of the Palestinian people through Israel's colonization since 1948, which has systematically and forcibly dispossessed, displaced, and fragmented the Palestinian people, deliberately denying them their internationally recognized inalienable right to self-determination and their internationally recognized right of return as refugees to their towns and villages in what is now the State of Israel. We are also particularly mindful of Israel's institutionalized regime of discriminatory laws, policies and practices designed and maintained to establish domination, subjecting the Palestinian people to apartheid on both sides of the Green Line. Decades-long impunity for widespread and systematic human rights violations has emboldened Israel in its recurrence and intensification of international crimes in Palestine. At the outset, South Africa acknowledges that the genocidal acts and omissions by the State of Israel inevitably form part of a continuum of illegal acts perpetrated against the Palestinian people since 1948. The application places Israel's genocidal acts and omissions within the broader context of Israel's 75-year apartheid, 56-year occupation, and 16-year siege imposed on the Gaza Strip, a siege which itself has been described by the director of UNRWA Affairs in Gaza as a silent killer of people. As the Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination warned on December 21st, hate speech and dehumanizing discourse targeted at Palestinians is raising severe concerns regarding Israel and other states' parties' obligation to prevent crimes against humanity and genocide in the Gaza Strip. This warning has been followed by a succession of warnings, including by 37 United Nations special rapporteurs, of the failure of the international system to mobilize to prevent genocide in Gaza. Today, we are joined in court by representatives of the Palestinian state, the Palestinians who work in the fields of human rights, including residents of Gaza who were in Gaza just a few days ago. They are some of the lucky ones who managed to get out of Gaza. Their future and the future of their fellow Palestinians who are still in Gaza depend on the decision this court will make on this matter. With the leave of the court, I now call upon His Excellency Mr. Ronald Lamola, Minister of Justice of the Republic of South Africa, to make South Africa's substantive opening remarks.
I thank the agent of South Africa for his statement, and I now invite the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services for the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Mr. Ronald Lamola, to take the floor. You have the floor, Excellency.
Thank you, Madam President, and distinguished members of the court. It is an honor for me to stand here in front of you on behalf of the Republic of South Africa on this exceptional case. In extending our hands across the miles to the people of Palestine, we do so in full knowledge that we are part of a humanity that is at one. These were the words of our founding president, Nelson Mandela. This is the spirit in which South Africa acceded to the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of Crime of Genocide in 1998. This is the spirit in which we approach this court as a contracting party to the Convention. This is a commitment we owe to the people of Palestine and Israelis alike. As previously mentioned, the violence and the destruction in Palestine and Israel did not begin on the 7th of October 2023. The Palestinians have experienced systematic oppression and violence for the last 76 years. On 6 October 2023, and every day since October the 7th, 2023. In the Gaza Strip, at least since 2004, Israel continues to exercise control over the airspace, territorial waters, land crossing, water, electricity, and civilian infrastructure, as well as over key government functions. Entry and exit by air and sea to Gaza is strictly prohibited, with Israel operating the only two crossing points.
Hey, daar. Zo, bij elkaar blijven.
Druk aan de andere kant. Ja, ik zie jullie. Top. Dubbel 0 weg.
Bring them home! 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 We love Israel! 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 We love Israel!
Die zijn ook gevaarlijk.
לא, הוא אמר, הוא עשה עם אחותי, הוא לא צריך. את רוצה את
We haven't interviewed him, Ruth. His brother is in Gaza.
Okay, you speak English, eh?
Yes.
Okay, if you speak a bit louder, so just we do it on mic. So, if you kindly tell us why you are here today.
Very simple. I'm here to show my brother's face and tell the world that Or is not just a name and a number. He's a real person with real family, and he was abducted by Hamas. He had to witness his wife being murdered in front of his eyes. He has a 2-year-old son waiting for him at home.
or you are living somewhere else outside?
No, I'm not from there. He wanted to go to a music festival with his wife and had to witness her being murdered in front of them, before being abducted into the tunnels of Gaza by monsters.
And how do you feel today there is a case going on in the ICJ saying that Israel government is committing genocide?
He can't even start to explain how ridiculous those accusations are. People are talking about what Israel is doing, but Hamas is committing crimes against humanity every day that my brother and the rest of the hostages are there, and no one is talking about it. So I'm here to raise this voice, the voice of the hostages.
Can you please explain your first name, last name, and age?
Yes, I'm Michael Levy, Michael, Levy, Levy, and I'm 41.
And where do you live?
In Genetic Farm, Israel.
In Israel. So you were not with your brother when he was kidnapped?
No, I was at home when I heard when he was there. He was missing for 8 days, the worst 8 days of my life. I had to do everything in order to find out what happened to him. I watched horrible videos of horrible crimes that Hamas committed, people being murdered and kidnapped and butchered.
Either if you want, something called VR, virtual reality. You can put on glasses and see everything that happened there with your own eyes. And you can also say to the microphone what you're seeing if you want. It's over there.
No, that doesn't come in the camera.
Yeah, it can. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
بس هارون
Ik sta als een standbeeld, sta ik hier zo. Mooi hè, want ik kon gewoon geen vlaggestok houden. Ja, nee, ik blijf de hele dag staan. Ik heb een duw wat er deed. Morgen ophalen. Ja, is goed. Ben je alleen? Oh ja, ja, hoi. Ik kan leven hier halen. Het is nog niet mee, hè? Voor de rest heb ik ja, is goed.
Voor. Wilt u even een foto van ons maken? Oh, u heeft de A is voor picture of us? Ja? No problem. I understand. Yeah, good. Now it's a good job. Thank you.
Ja, zeker.
Ga je vertrekken?
Ja, let op elkaar. Ben je gelijk ook mee?
Hey! Daniels, hey! Hoe doen we snee? Hoe is jongen? Ja, lekker man. Ja, dan.
I'm still just sort of wondering.
So it's still live, huh? Kind of gives us some stuff. end of a walk? Huh? Good. Yeah, I've already lost 6 kg. In just a week. Because of the sickness, yeah. I can't believe it. 6 kg. I would love to get sick again. Another 6 and that would be fine.
Dance for your Danish? For your wife? So, where you're based where?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks. Haven't been there.
We don't want no Zionists here! We don't want no Zionists here! Say it loud, say it clear! Say it loud, say it clear! We don't want no Zionists here! We don't want no Zionists here! Say it loud, say it clear! We don't want no Zionists here! Free, free Palestine! Free, free
So your question, since 1948, they've been oppressing the Palestinians. 1948 is the year of independence of Israel. It's 1947. In 1947, the UN tried to make a resolution to divide
Racism
Israel.
kills y'all.
Hold on. No, I'm asking you a question. I'm answering your question. You asked a question, I answered. Okay, so hold on. So there was a UN partition. I have a question for you. No, stop.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you.
Say it loud, say it clear!
You don't want to discuss with me. You don't want to talk.
Say it clear!
Why not talk? Let's talk this out. Let's talk like human beings. We're both human beings. We want peace, right?
Say it clear! We don't want no Zionists here! Say it loud, say it clear!
We don't want no Zionists here!
Say it loud, say it clear!
I just want
we
you
don't
to
want no
talk.
Zionists here! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! I don't talk to Zionists! We don't talk to Zionists!
Why not?
Because Zionists kill!
That's not exactly true, is it?
Government has the strongest army in the world.
That's
What
not
are
true.
you about talking?
No, see, why are you just telling me lies? Why are you just telling me lies? Talk to me. You asked me a question, let me answer you. You ask a question, let me answer you. As a Jew in the Netherlands, let me answer you. Let me answer you. Let me answer you. You asked me a question. Come talk to me. Come talk to me like a human being. I'm just a human being. You're just a human being.
Me too.
We just want to talk, right?
Me too.
So let's talk.
Are you religious?
Talk.
Are you religious?
No. Let's talk.
I'm a religious Muslim. Are you religious Jews?
Let's talk.
I have no problem to talk.
Okay. The only people holding us back from talking are the people around us. The only people stopping us from having peace are those around us. You see this? It's only those around us.
In my opinion. Yunus, nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you too.
I want to answer.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate question.
Okay.
What about the oppression of the Palestinian people? It's a legitimate question. It's a fair question, right?
Yeah.
I see what's happened in the past from 1947 onwards as a failure of the UN to do its job. Okay? The UN partition plan in 1947 called for a division of the land. Should the land be divided? Not really, in my opinion. I think we should live together as one people. Let's live together.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's live together as a people, right?
Yeah.
In peace, in love, in kindness to one another. And it's possible. I think it's possible.
It was so long that people in Palestine, Muslim, Christian, Jewish people, were living together in peace. And now you can see this.
That's partially true.
One moment. Now you can see this also in Germany, in other countries of the world. The Jewish, Muslim, Christian people are living together. The Jewish people are going in the streets and are saying that the government in Israel, the right government in Israel, have not the right to do this massacre and the genocide on the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people, one moment, the Palestinian people have no problem with the Jewish people. I don't have a problem with you. And it's a problem that because of the media and the political people, the problem from Palestine, Israel outside is coming to Germany, is coming to Netherlands, is coming to all other countries. It's not okay that you and me have a conflict because of the history since hundreds of years, and I don't know, you don't know me, but we know the facts today. We know the fact that Israel now is an apartheid regime.
What is apartheid?
You don't.
You say apartheid regime. I'm trying to understand what you mean by apartheid, because clearly
people in Palestine, people in Israel,
your definition of apartheid is not the same as mine. Apartheid, it means institutionalized racism. It means that the institution of government and law states that you have to be racist against a people by another people.
And what
hold on. For example, South Africa. The apartheid from South Africa was of the whites onto the blacks. The blacks were being aparted, right? They were being held away. They were told, you're not part of the white society, or you're less than the white society. That's apartheid. What we see in Israel currently, if you've ever gone to Israel, I invite you to, please come and see it for yourself. Israel has nowhere in its books.
You know,
Let me answer you, please, so that we can have a conversation. I lived in Israel for 7 years. I have Arab Israeli friends. I have Muslim friends, also in the Netherlands. That's not to say that I'm not racist.
Why you are standing here today?
Because I personally believe that to get peace, we have to leave the UN behind altogether. The Palestinians and the Israelis. We need to leave the UN behind, because the UN has been taken over by people that want to control the world. And we know, both of us know, we're just normal
people. So you are against the UN or you are against your government?
You and me, we're just normal people, right? You just try to work, make a living, to provide for your family, right? Me too. I'm just a man trying to provide for my family. Look at my fingers. You see this? I'm a hard-working man. Hold on.
That's a problem.
Wait. Let me answer your question.
The topic is.
Let me answer your question. I will answer your question. Okay. There's a building. So, let's go back to this. Okay? If we want to live in peace, what we need to do is to push away the people that are trying to gain control over the situation. It's quite simple.
Who are the people?
I agree with you that Netanyahu is not the best thing for Israel. I agree with you. Okay? But I also would like to state to you, Israel is not an apartheid state.
And why are people in Israel, Palestinian Israel people in Israel, have not the same rights than Jewish people in Israel?
Let me answer your question.
They have not the same right to do the same work, to study, to have their own opinion, have their own opinion in political things. They are afraid of saying the opinion in the public, for example.
Is this, hold on, is this in the West Bank and Gaza, right? You're talking about Palestinians not being able to live in the same way, not having the same rights as Israelis.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you as a German citizen have the same rights as me as a Dutch citizen by the Dutch government? You're German, right?
Yeah, I'm German.
So if you come to the Netherlands, does the Netherlands give you, hold on, now, this is the question. If you come to the Netherlands, do you get the same rights as me as a Dutch person?
I get, yes, because of, as a human, has rights.
Human rights.
Human rights.
That's basic, right?
Okay,
so
I have human rights.
Basic human rights. Everybody
to
should
live,
be free.
to work,
yes,
to educate myself, that I have a word.
Beautiful.
Okay, but the people in Israel have not the right like human rights. Palestinian people have no human rights for the Israel government. I'm not saying that the I'm not saying that all the Israeli people are against Palestine, or that all the Israeli people are supporting the apartheid, but the government is an apartheid state, or it's a government. That's true.
No,
that's true.
Oh, okay. So
okay. What are you saying?
Wait.
What are you saying? No.
I want
You want to leave the topic. What are you saying about the more than 30,000 people who were killed through the?
It's terrible. It's a tragedy.
Okay. And why are you not?
Hold on.
Why you are not staying with me?
Wait,
why you are not staying with me? One question. When you are saying, when you are saying, when you are saying, one moment, one moment, when you are saying it's terrible, why you are not staying with me at this side?
Okay. Is it?
When you want peace, I was going to you. We were walking here. I was coming to you. You're coming to me.
Yes.
So why we were not?
Human beings having a conversation.
Why you were not willing?
Look at this, people. This is how you do it. You have a conversation. You go to one another and you ask, "What is it on your mind? Why are we fighting about this?" You don't go and yell at each other. Free this and Am Yisrael. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. So let me ask you this: 30,000 people got killed, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's a tragedy. Would you agree with me that 100 people being held hostage is also terrible?
So
it's terrible, right?
Do you know what your problem is? Do you know what the problem is? Do you know what the problem is? Do you know what the problem is?
It's both horrible, right? Two things can be true at the same time.
It's horrible. It's horrible. In my religion, nobody is allowed to kill somebody else. In my religion,
murder. You're not allowed to murder. Killing is a whole different thing.
It's not allowed. To killing murder is not allowed. Not allowed. And nobody of the Palestinian people is saying yes. The people in Israel are animals. Yes, we have to kill the children. We have to kill their mothers. They are no worse. We have to bomb Gaza, and we want to live in Gaza. The problem is Israel want to colonize Palestine, and the problem is
what is colonization?
No.
I'm asking. I'm just asking what your definition is.
I'm not dumb. I know what you. I know what you want to do. You want to switch situation.
No, I'm trying to understand what you mean.
If
I don't know what you mean, if I don't know what
you are intelligent people. You can communicate and you can manipulate so good. You see the cameras that are filming us, and I think you are not.
So let's walk away from the cameras.
You are not honest today.
You and me, Eunice. Let's go talk. Let's go sit in a cafe.
Let's go.
I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to.
On this side.
They told me I can't. They told me. Look at me. They told me, a Dutch person with a Dutch flag on a Dutch street, that I'm not allowed to. Because I'm part of this demonstration, and it's ridiculous, right? You and me, we're just two human beings. Let's go sit at a cafe, have a cup of coffee, and talk about this, and see what you and me can agree on. Because I think you and me can agree on one thing. You and me can agree on, right? Okay. I want to ask, can you and me agree that any human suffering is bad?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. I think that's where we should leave it.
But
let's exchange numbers. No, seriously. Let's exchange numbers and go talk.
Put your flag down.
Why? This one, the Dutch one?
Okay, then come with me on this side.
No.
When you are against murder, when you are against killing people.
If I take this off, then I'm against my own religion. And if I leave this on and I go
the
there,
Palestinian people. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. The Palestinian people have no problem with Jewish people. I have in Germany.
Let's go try it.
In Germany,
I love that.
in Germany, a lot of Jewish people. Yeah, come together.
What they know, like exactly 7 hours, 8 hours, still missing what we get.
And I'm here against all the motherfuckers who touch next here. There's so many trade next to touch next. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. 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 One solution. One solution. One solution. One solution. Gaza, don't cry. Gaza, don't cry. Palestine will never die. 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 Netanyahu criminal. Netanyahu criminal. Netanyahu criminal. Netanyahu criminal. Israel terrorist. Israel terrorist. Israel terrorist. Israel terrorist. Biden by the criminal. Biden by the criminal. Biden by the criminal. Biden by the criminal. Palestine. 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 Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! No. Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! 1, 2, 3, 4! 1, 2, 3, 4! 1, 2, 3, 4! Occupation no more! Occupation no more! Occupation no more! Netanyahu criminal! river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
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 سمعونا رجاله بداوا المساعدة. From the river to the sea.
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 From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
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 Gaza, Gaza, don't cry.
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 Palestine will never die.
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 Palestine will never die. Viva, viva Palestina.
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 Viva, viva Intifada.
Viva, viva Intifada.
Viva, viva Intifada.
Viva, viva Intifada.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
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 One solution.
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 Revolution.
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 الاعلام يا رجاله. One solution. One solution. One solution. One solution. One solution. Revolution. 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 the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
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 War solution.
War solution.
War solution. War solution. Revolution. 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 Intifada. Intifada. Intifada.
Palestine will never die. From the river to the sea. From the occupation has to go. The occupation has to go. The occupation has to go.
members, having asked you that question, the court has resumed, and Mr. Max Duplessis, lawyer for South Africa, is taking the stand. He's now addressing the court. Let's just listen.
8 provisional measures, the rights claimed by South Africa on the merits, and for which it is seeking protection, must be at least plausible. This threshold does not require the court to determine definitively whether the rights which South Africa wishes to see protected exist. Rather, the rights asserted must merely be grounded in a possible interpretation of the convention. And the court must be concerned to preserve by such measures the rights which may subsequently be adjudged by it to belong to either party. Palestinians in Gaza as a very substantial and important part of the Palestinian national, racial and ethnic group, simply but profoundly are entitled to exist. As our Ambassador pointed out in the opening, to secure the right to exist,
of the victim groups that this honourable court has previously protected by its issuance of provisional measures in the past. The material confirms the rights issue and their violation. That Israel has committed and is committing acts capable of being characterized as genocidal. You have heard from Ms. Hassan about direct extermination of thousands of people of the Palestinian population in Gaza since 7 October last year. And South Africa and the world together stand witness to the forced evacuation of over 85% of the population of Gaza from their homes, and the herding of them into ever smaller areas without adequate shelter or medical care to be attacked, killed and harmed. So, the rights are immediately and urgently in need of protection because of the ongoing denial by Israel of the conditions necessary for life. It is difficult, with respect, to think of a clearer or more abundantly urgent case. I read the same. The chief economist of the United Nations World Food Programme chillingly warned a week ago, on the 3rd of January, and I quote, "I've been doing this," he said, "for the past 2 decades, and I've been to all kinds of conflicts and all kinds of crises. And for me, the situation in Gaza, is unprecedented because of, 1, the magnitude, the scale, the entire population of a particular place. 2nd, the severity. And 3rd, the speed at which this is happening, at which this has unfolded, is unprecedented." He concluded, "In my life, I've never seen anything like this in terms of severity, in terms of scale, and then in terms of speed." Madam President, esteemed judges, the core rights on the evidence provided by South Africa in its application are demonstrably being violated. Multiple further statements by UN bodies and experts, as well as various expert human rights organizations and institutions and states, all of which are set out in South Africa's application, confirm as much. They collectively have considered the acts committed by Israel to be genocidal, or at the very least warned that the Palestinian people are at risk of genocide. Since the application was initiated, further states, 13 to date, including the Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, representing 57 states, as well as other experts, have expressed their support for the case, thereby underlining the plausibility of South Africa's claim for provisional measures. For the purposes of the invocation of provisional measures, the rights asserted by South Africa under the Genocide Convention and their protection corresponds with the very object and purpose of the Convention. Based on the materials before the court, they, what Israel complained of, are capable of being characterized as at least plausibly genocidal. As Mr. Nkompatobi has explicated, the evidence of the specific genocidal intent is clear from the statements by Israeli government officials and soldiers towards Palestinians in Gaza, and which may be characterized as at the very least plausibly genocidal. This at least plausible genocidal intent can also be deduced from the pattern of conduct against Palestinians in Gaza. It is also, again at the very least, plausible that Israel has failed to prevent or to punish genocide, conspiracy to commit genocide, direct and public incitement to genocide, attempted genocide, and complicity in genocide. And it is further plausible that South Africa has an obligation to prevent genocide, including by taking all reasonable measures within its powers to influence effectively the actions of persons perpetrating and likely to commit genocide or engaging in direct public incitement to genocide. So let me be clear. South Africa's obligation is motivated by the need to protect Palestinians in Gaza and their absolute rights not to be subject to genocidal acts. Notwithstanding the incontestably serious nature of the allegations against Israel, the court should not be required, before granting provisional measures, to ascertain whether the existence of a genocidal intent is the only plausible inference to be drawn from the material before it. That would amount to the court making a determination on the merits. Moreover, South Africa has stressed that any any motive or effort by Israel to destroy Hamas does not preclude genocidal intent by Israel towards the whole or part of the Palestinian people in Gaza. Evidence of other motives explaining its conduct as a perpetrator will not save Israel from a finding, but it also possessed the requisite genocidal intent. And because of a fundamental feature of genocide, namely that the prohibitions on genocide and associated offences are discourteous in nature, they are subject therefore to no exceptional qualification. They are absolute in nature, in times of war and peace, always and everywhere. Furthermore, the fact that the alleged acts may also be characterized as crimes other than genocide should not exclude the plausible inference of the existence of genocidal intent. As the UN Secretary General stated, the prevention of genocide is intrinsically connected to preventing crimes against humanity and war crimes, as these crimes tend to occur in the same situation rather than as isolated events. Consequently, he said, initiatives aimed at preventing one of the crimes will in most circumstances also cover the others. And as also set out in the ILC articles on state responsibility, the wrongful act of genocide is generally made up of a series of acts which are themselves internationally wrongful. Madam President, honourable members of the Court, South Africa's claims thus confirm in the first place its own obligations as a state party to the Genocide Convention to act to prevent and punish genocide. In the application, South Africa has stressed that it is acutely aware of its own obligation as a state party to the Convention to prevent genocide. Indeed, this court has recognized the universal character both of the condemnation of genocide and of the cooperation required in order to liberate mankind from such an odious scourge. As the prohibition of genocide is assuredly a hereditary norm of international law or jurisprudence, it is crucial that states pursue their interest under the Convention in ensuring acts of genocide are prevented. Additionally, due to the special characteristics of the Genocide Convention, the respondent state owes this duty not only to the Palestinian people, but to all states parties to the Genocide Convention, including South Africa. This has been emphasized repeatedly by this court and most recently in the Gambia case, where the court held, and I quote, all the states parties to the Genocide Convention have a common interest to ensure that acts of genocide are prevented, and that if they occur, their authors do not enjoy impunity. That common interest, said the court, implies that the obligations in question are owed by any state party to all the other states parties to the Convention. Similarly, the court has reiterated that in such a convention, the contracting states do not have any interests of their own. They merely have one and all a common interest, namely the accomplishment of those high purposes which are the raison d'etre of the convention. Accordingly, any state party to the Genocide Convention, and not only a specially affected state, may invoke the responsibility of another state party with a view to ascertaining the alleged failure to comply with its obligations, erga omnes partes, and to bring that failure to an end. That means that South Africa is asserting both a collective and an individual right. It is thus beyond doubt that South Africa is entitled to invoke the responsibility of Israel under the Genocide Convention. Through South Africa's interest in the common interest, and as a state party to the Genocide Convention itself, it is entitled to safeguard compliance with that instrument. As has been explained, the events unfolding in Gaza at the hands of the Israeli forces are frighteningly unprecedented. Yet what this court is being asked to do in these proceedings, interdicting genocidal acts on an interim basis, is sadly by no means novel. In relation to genocide, the court has indicated provisional measures in analogous circumstances to these. In the Gambia case, where, as here, the state sought provisional measures on the basis of the erga omnes right that the Genocide Convention be complied with. Also in respect of genocide, the court did the same in the Bosnia and Ukraine cases. And most recently, this court further accepted the erga omnes character of parties' rights in relation to the Torture Convention. obvious that in this case, the rights of the Palestinians in Gaza are no less worthy of this court's considerable protective power under Article 41 to issue provisional measures. This court cannot find, as it did in the Gaza case, where this court held that there is a correlation between the rights of members of groups protected under the Genocide Convention, the obligations incumbent on states parties thereto, and the right of any state party to seek compliance therewith by another state party. South Africa's request therefore complies with Article 41 of this court statute and engages the power of this court to preserve by such measures the rights which may subsequently be adjudged by it to belong to either party. South Africa requests this court to discharge that critical protective power. And South Africa does so by virtue of its own clear right and solemn obligations held towards the international community as a whole. For the court to indicate one or more provisional measures, there must also be a link between the rights, the protection of which is sought, and the provisional measure being requested. Such a link manifestly exists, we say, between the rights claimed by South Africa in its application and the provisional measures requested, which are directly linked to the rights which form the subject matter of the dispute. The provisional measures sought therefore ensure the protection of rights which might ultimately form the basis of a judgment in the exercise of the court's jurisdiction in due course. The rights at stake in these proceedings are certainly at least plausible, grounded in a possible interpretation of the Convention, and as the Convention imposes on parties the obligation to prevent and punish genocide under Article 1, and in doing so, intends to protect groups and parts of groups from genocide. The Convention was designed to protect both states, parties, and human groups. When acts in breach of the Convention are perpetrated, it is the fundamental rights of people and the relevant group that are violated. Those fundamental rights of Palestinians in Gaza will be the subject of any judgment by this court on the merits. Madam President, members of the court, to find otherwise will not only be to treat Palestinians differently as less worthy of protection than others, it would also be for the court to unduly limit its own competence, to turn its back upon its extensive prior jurisprudence, and to close its eyes to the breach of the rights which lie at the heart of the Convention, and which breaches are taking place in Gaza right now as I close. Madam President, I ask you now to call Ms. Negrali KC to the podium, who will address you on the risk of further genocidal acts, the risk of irreparable harm and urgency, and I thank you for your attention.
And I now invite Ms. Lenny Negrali to take the floor. You have the floor, madam.
Madame la Présidente, Mesdames et Messieurs les juges, c'est un grand honneur pour moi de paraître devant la Cour de nouveau. C'est également à la fois un privilège et une lourde responsabilité que de représenter l'Afrique du Sud dans cette affaire d'une si grande gravité. Il me revient de savoir raconter leur sense of coverage of the same as the International Court of Justice South Africa in the case of genocide, accusing Israel of committing genocide in its war on Gaza. We are listening there. I believe that is the first non-South African advocate representing South Africa, that is Irish advocate Glenn Grayley, who is now addressing the International Court of Justice. She is speaking French, and do we have a translation? All right, well, we will wait for a translation on that, but while we wait for that, let's... All right, I believe we have a translation. Let's listen in.
Before that, I should like to address South Africa's sincere apologies to the Francophone members of the court for not having made any of its submissions in French. South Africa would ask you not to regard this as a lack of courtesy on its part. If you will allow, I shall now continue my pleadings in English.
Madam President, members of the court, there is an urgent need for provisional measures to protect Palestinians in Gaza from the irreparable prejudice caused by Israel's violations of the Genocide Convention. The United Nations Secretary General and its chiefs describe the situation in Gaza variously as a crisis of humanity, a living hell, a bloodbath, a situation of utter deepening and unmatched horror, where an entire population is besieged and under attack, denied access to the essentials for survival on a massive scale. As the United Nations... For children in particular, the last 12 weeks have been traumatic. No food, no water, no school, nothing but the terrifying sounds of war, day in and day out. Gaza has simply become uninhabitable. Its people are witnessing daily threats to their very existence, while the world watches on. End quote. The court has heard of the horrific death toll and of the more than 7,000 Palestinian men, women and children reported missing, presumed dead, or dying slow, excruciating deaths trapped under the rubble. Reports of field executions and torture and ill-treatment are mounting, as are images of decomposing bodies of Palestinian men, women and children left unburied where they were killed, some being picked upon by animals. It is becoming ever clearer that huge swathes of Gaza, entire towns, villages, refugee camps, are being wiped from the map. As you have heard, but it bears repeating, according to the World Food Programme, 4 out of 5 people in the world in famine or a catastrophic type of hunger are in Gaza right now. Indeed, experts warn that deaths from starvation and disease risk significantly outstripping deaths from bombings. The daily statistics stand as clear evidence of the urgency and of the irreparable prejudice. On the basis of the current figures, on average, 247 Palestinians are being killed and are at risk of being killed each day, many of them literally blown to pieces. They include 48 mothers each day, 2 every hour, and over 117 children each day, leading UNICEF to call Israel's actions a war on children. On current rates which show no sign of abating, each day, over 3 medics, 2 teachers, more than 1 United Nations employee, and more than 1 journalist will be killed, many while at work or in what appear to be targeted attacks on their family homes or where they are sheltering. The risk of famine will increase each day. Each day, an average of 629 people will be wounded, some multiple times over, as they move from place to place, desperately seeking sanctuary. Each day, over 10 Palestinian children will have 1 or both legs amputated, many without anaesthetic. Each day, on current rates, an average of 3,900 Palestinian homes will be damaged or destroyed. More mass graves will be dug. More cemeteries will be bulldozed and bombed and corpses violently exhumed, denying even the dead any dignity or peace. Each day, ambulances, hospitals and medics will continue to be attacked and killed. The first responders who have spent 3 months without international assistance, trying to dig families out of the rubble with their bare hands, will continue to be targeted. On current figures, 1 will be killed almost every second day, sometimes in attacks launched against those attending the scene to rescue the wounded. Each day, yet more desperate people will be forced to relocate from where they are sheltering or will be bombed in places where they have been told to evacuate to. Entire multi-generational families will be obliterated. and yet more Palestinian children will become WCNSF, Wounded Child, No Surviving Family, the terrible new acronym born out of Israel's genocidal assault on the Palestinian population in Gaza. There is an urgent need for provisional measures to prevent imminent, irreparable prejudice to the rights in issue in this case. There could not be a clearer or more compelling case. In the words of the Commissioner General of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, there must be an end to the decimation of Gaza and of its people. Turning to the Court's case law, as the Court has recently reaffirmed, and I quote, "The condition of urgency is met when acts susceptible of causing irreparable prejudice can occur at any moment before the Court makes a final decision on the case." End quote. That is precisely the situation here. Any of those matters to which I have referred can and are occurring at any moment. United Nations Security Council resolutions demanding, quote, "the immediate, safe, unhindered delivery of humanitarian assistance at scale throughout Gaza and full, rapid, safe and unhindered humanitarian access," end quote, remain unimplemented. United Nations General Assembly resolutions calling for a humanitarian ceasefire have been ignored. The situation could not be more urgent. Since these proceedings were initiated on the 29th of December 2023 alone, an estimated over 1,703 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza and over 3,252 injured. As to the criterion of irreparable prejudice, for decades now, the Court has repeatedly found it to be satisfied in situations where serious risks arise to human life or to other fundamental rights. In the cases of Georgia, Russia, and Armenia, Azerbaijan, the Court ordered provisional measures, having found a serious risk of irreparable prejudice where hundreds of thousands of people had been forced from their homes. In ordering provisional measures in the latter case, the Court noted the context of, I quote, "the long-standing exposure of the population to a situation of vulnerability, including hindrances to the importation of essential goods, causing shortages of food, medicine, and other life-saving medical supplies," end quote. In Gaza, as you have heard, nearly 2 million people, over 85% of the population, have been repeatedly forced to flee their homes and shelters, not just once or twice, but some 3, 4, or more times over, into shrinking slivers of land where they continue to be bombed and killed. This is a population that Israel had already made vulnerable through 16 years of military blockade and crippling de-development. Today, Israel's hindrances to the import of food and essential items have brought Gaza to the brink of famine, with adults, mothers, fathers, grandparents regularly foregoing food for the day so that children can eat at least something. Medicine shortages and the lack of medical treatment, clean water and electricity are so great that large numbers of Palestinians are dying or are at imminent risk of dying preventable deaths. Cancer and other services have long shut down. Women are undergoing caesarean sections without anaesthetic in barely functioning hospitals, described as scenes from a horror movie, with many undergoing otherwise unnecessary hysterectomies in an attempt to save their lives. In the Canada-Syria torture case, the Court made clear that, I quote, "individuals subject to torture and other acts of cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment are at serious risk of irreparable prejudice." Well, Palestinians in Gaza are also at risk of such irreparable prejudice, with videos of Palestinian boys and men rounded up and stripped and degraded broadcast to the world, alongside footage of serious bodily harm and accounts of serious mental harm and humiliation. In Qatar, United Arab Emirates, the court considered provisional measures to be justified, having regard to the risk of irreparable prejudice deriving from factors such as people being forced to leave their places of residence without the possibility of return, the psychological distress of temporary or potentially ongoing separation from their families, and the harm associated with students being prevented from taking their exams. If provisional measures were justified there, how could they not be in Gaza, where countless families have been separated, with some family members evacuating under Israeli military orders and others staying behind at extreme risk to care for the wounded, infirm and the elderly, where husbands, fathers and sons are being rounded up and separated from their families, taken to unknown locations for indeterminate periods of time. In the Qatar case, the court issued a provisional order where harm to approximately 150 students was an issue. In Gaza, 625,000 school children have not attended school for 3 months, with the United Nations Security Council expressing deep concern, I quote, that the disruption of access to education has a dramatic impact on children and that conflict has lifelong effects on their physical and mental health. Almost 90,000 Palestinian university students cannot attend at university in Gaza. Over 60% of schools, almost all universities, and countless bookshops and libraries have been damaged or destroyed, and hundreds of teachers and academics have been killed, including deans of universities and leading Palestinian scholars, obliterating the very prospects for the future education of Gaza's children and young people. Notably, the court has found provisional measures to be justified in all 3 cases where they were previously sought in relation to violations of the Genocide Convention. It did so in Bosnia and Serbia in 1993, finding on the basis of evidence that was certainly no more compelling than that presently before the court, that it was sufficient to determine that there was, and I quote, a grave risk of acts of genocide being committed. The court found provisional measures to be justified in the Gambia-Myanmar case on the basis of a risk of irreparable prejudice to the Rohingya, subject to, quote, mass killings as well as beatings, the destruction of villages and homes, denial of access to food, shelter, and other essentials of life. More recently, in indicating provisional measures in Ukraine-Russia, the court considered that Russia's military activities had, quote, resulted in numerous civilian deaths and injuries and caused significant material damage, including the destruction of buildings and infrastructure, end quote, giving rise to a risk of irreparable prejudice. The court had regard to the fact that, quote, attacks are ongoing and are creating increasingly difficult living conditions for the civilian population, end quote, which it considered to be extremely vulnerable. The court also considered the fact that, I quote again, many persons have no access to the most basic foodstuffs, potable water, electricity, essential medicines or heating, and that many were attempting to flee under extremely insecure conditions. This is occurring in Gaza on a much more intensive scale to a besieged, trapped, terrified population that has nowhere safe to go. Lest the contrary be suggested, it is clear from Ukraine-Russia that the fact that the urgent risk of irreparable harm arises in a situation of armed conflict does not undermine, much less preclude, a request for provisional measures. That's also clear from the court's other judgments. So in the case of armed activities on the territory of the Congo, for example, the court ordered provisional measures based on its finding that, quote, persons, assets and resources present on the territory of the Congo, particularly in the area of conflict, remain extremely vulnerable, and that there was a serious risk that rights at issue in the case may suffer irreparable prejudice, end quote. Similarly, in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, the court indicated provisional measures in part on the basis that the presence of troops in the disputed territory gave rise, I quote, to a real and present risk of incidents liable to cause irremediable harm in the form of bodily injury or death, end quote. In relation to the Genocide Convention in particular, the court recalled in Gambia, Myanmar, that, quote, states parties expressly confirmed their willingness to consider genocide as a crime under international law, which they must prevent and punish independently of the context of peace or of war in which it takes place, end quote. More recently, in the case of Guyana, Venezuela, the court considered that the serious risk of Venezuela, quote, acquiring and exercising control and administration of the territory in dispute, end quote, gave rise to a risk of irreparable prejudice to the rights asserted in the case. Similar factors are an issue here, having regard to the territorial ambitions and settlement plans for Gaza being raised by members of the Israeli government, and the relationship of those factors to the very survival of Palestinians in Gaza as such. Similarly, any scaling up by Israel of access of humanitarian relief to Gaza in response to these proceedings or otherwise would be no answer to South Africa's request for provisional measures. In the case of Iran, United States,